So I've always wanted my blog to be a really authentic space for people to come and feel empowered to use their own voice. Early on, I was telling everyone, you get a blog, you get a blog, you get a blog, and I just wanted everyone to be able to share that voice. And so I thought that I should be modeling that, because so much of the style blogging community is about wearing these outfits and showing the best part of yourself, but that's not always very relatable, and it's not necessarily empowering. And so I wanted not only my outfits to empower people to dress better and like dress more themselves, but also feel more themselves and express themselves in these other ways. And it just didn't feel genuine for me to be writing about clothes if I wasn't also writing about my body, because disordered eating is something I've struggled with for a long time that I've written about. Mental health is something I've struggled with for a long time that I've written about. And those things affect my clothing. You know, if I'm gaining a lot of weight or have lost some weight, that affects my outfits, it affects what's in my closet, and that's also intersected with mental health, is that like if I'm feeling especially depressed, you know, how I dress myself is different. And so I just felt like it made sense for all of that to be on the blog, and my audience has really appreciated it and has grown around that. And now I'm seeing more bloggers doing what I'm doing, and it's nice to have a community of people who are sharing their real selves in addition to their best selves. I started blogging my junior year in college, which was 2011. Hello Giggles had just launched in May, and I knew that I wanted to be writing, and I was still in college, and I didn't want to wait for someone to tell me that I could be published, and so I was like, I'm just going to publish myself, and if I want to be doing fashion writing, I should be doing fashion writing myself. And so I started a blog, which started initially more like a Hello Giggles, kind of doing comedy writing, and it was just hard to do that consistently. So I took a little break, and then I came back, and I've been following all these style bloggers, and it's like, I can do that. I can do that as well as they can. You know, I had taken these online writing classes in college, and I just thought I could do it better. And so I did. So I started a blog, and I got a little tripod for my phone, and I would take outfit photos like at my apartment complex, and they were really bad. But I put them on the internet anyway, and people started reading it, and I've been doing it for 4 years. My anniversary was yesterday. So I remember the first few posts that I wrote about body image. I remember probably the first one was right after Lady Gaga came out with her like Body Revolution 2013, and I wrote a response piece to it, kind of coming out about my struggles. And usually I schedule my stuff ahead of time, but that post, as soon as I finished it, I just hit publish, and it was a Thursday night. It was like a school night, and I was like, oh God, what do I do? And it took about 10 minutes for the likes to start pouring in on Facebook. But then they just didn't stop, and people started commenting on Facebook, not yet on the blog, because people didn't really blog at the time, but all of these people that I knew who were like, oh my God, I experienced this too, or like, wow, I can't believe you're sharing this, and that really inspired me to keep sharing more of this content because people needed it. And it was like, if I'm blogging, I need to be filling some kind of space that isn't already being filled, and like, these are things I want to write about, so I should just keep doing it. And it gets easier to keep hitting publish. I remember at Texas Style Council 13, there was a big like Q&A with all the big bloggers who'd spoken, and everyone was asking about monetizing, and all I wanted to know was how Kindy Everyday pushed publish on her post about being depressed, and how you know, Tika had pushed post on a post about like getting a divorce. And you know, people that I admire have written things that were difficult, and like I can do that too, and hopefully inspire someone else to do the same. So my boyfriend Dago and I had been listening to podcasts for a while, and we listened to a lot of like Black culture podcasts, and we've become friends with them on Twitter. We were engaging with them in all these ways, and we were like, we should be doing this too. Like, we're hilarious. We would go on long drives together, and we would just talk and talk about all these issues, and we were like, someone should be hearing this. Similarly to my blog, I was like, we have a space to fill. No one is talking about the things we're talking about in the way we want to. Our love language, both of us, are quality time. And if we're just watching TV on the couch together, like, we're spending time together, but we're not doing something. And so this passion project has been a really cool way for us to like connect on a deeper level. You know, every week we're building a script together, we're reading the news together, and then we're having these like sometimes hard-hitting conversations, sometimes like we're writing raps about cereal, like breakfast cereal, and it like bends our brains in new ways, and getting to do that together is such a like cool and fun thing in a relationship. And we've been together 4 years, and so we've been podcasting for 2 now. We're about to have that anniversary, and it's just been a really cool way to like add a new level to our relationship. The one big challenge that Dago and I have in podcasting together is when big news happens, or especially when we go see a movie together, we'll get out and be like so energized that we saw this movie, and then we won't talk about it. We'll say like, we'll start, and then we're like, no, we have to save it for the podcast, because we know that if we have the conversation first, it won't be as good the second time we have it. It's just like if we have to record once and then record again because Dago forgot to plug the mic in or something, which has happened, and so hard to not be angry when that happens. Always do a sound test first. Always do a sound test first. But the like biggest challenge and funniest thing is like not being able to talk about things first and trying to like balance that. Where it's like, no, we're 2 people in a relationship, and we just walked out of Ant-Man, and we're gonna say that we liked it, and we're gonna say why we liked it. So for me, balance is something that I've decided you have to make instead of find, and that I'm not fulfilled if I'm not doing these different passion projects, and so I had to figure out how to make time to do that. And you know, sometimes that means like not going out and getting margaritas with my besties. That means that like I need to go take outfit photos instead of going to brunch. That, you know, Wednesday nights are podcast night, and so if somebody wants to get dinner, they have to get it on a different night. And it was definitely a big transition when I started at June Bug Weddings, because I blog all day, every day there. I write like 6 posts a day, and then I come home and write my own blog posts. And so that was tough, because I was like, I am looking at a computer screen constantly. But these are all things I want to be doing, and when I'm not doing them, I'm sad, and I like to be happy. So I make time to be able to figure it out. So my biggest piece of advice, and this is something I've mentioned, is that you don't have to wait for somebody to give you permission. Like, you are enough already, and you don't have to wait to be a good enough writer to start a blog, or take good enough photos to start a blog, or whatever it is. You don't have to take good enough photos to start being a photographer, or know how to play 3 instruments before you can make music. It's about deciding that you're going to give yourself permission, that you have that agency. And I think that's so cool, and I think it's really inspiring that, you know, all these people who started blogs back in like 2004, 2006, like I was in high school and didn't even really know what the internet was past MySpace, but they just were like, I want to be sharing things online because that's how people find things, and they just like pioneered it. And like, you can pioneer things too. You don't have to wait for someone to tell you that you are good enough.